I'm Dr. Pete Amundson. Today we're working with our guest patient, Jane Marie. We're going to be restoring tooth number 3 today on the new Cerec Blue Cam. What we're going to be doing is a full coverage crown. What's nice is we do have the new multi-blocks, which are multicolored blocks that allow us a nice transition of color. In the final restoration in the software, we will be able to manipulate the color in the block to try to get a nice transition. So what we'll be doing is Jane Marie is already restored here with some nice veneers, so we'll be able to blend the actual veneers to the new block by using an A1 multi-block here in the mouth. The patient's already anesthetized, so what we'll be doing next is starting to scan before we start the preparation. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we do have tooth number 3 here that we're going to be doing the restoration on. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is powdering the restoration to decrease the glare so the camera can pick up the image. Small amount of powder. Next, we will start our image. And just by holding the camera very steady, we're able to capture our initial image. And that should be more than enough information to start the preparation. Okay, so now we've actually completed our preparation. So what we're going to do now is now powder the preparation. And we're going to capture our images. There's our first image. The second image. And our third image. So now we can move forward and start designing our restoration. As you can see, the computer is stitching everything together and gathering all the information with just those couple of shots. And in that quick a time, we've got a perfect impression. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we can see our margins. What's nice about what the software is it does really help you define the exact margins of the crown. So as you can see, we're going around, we're marking the margins rather quickly. And then we can go through and define those once we zoom in on a much closer area here on the crown. So we can zoom in. And even though this crown is subgingival, we can change basically the resolution of that to see our margin and to make those corrections as needed. And even though normally it would take a much longer time to trim this die, we're able to do this in the software very rapidly, which is nice to do. Now, of course, if we're keeping most of our margins supragingival or above the gum line, it's a lot easier to find those. And there we go. And it's as simple as that. So as we develop our new anatomy, we'll do a more youthful restoration here. And as you can see, it's trying to fit the crown in based on the occlusion and how we want that crown to fit. And that's a real nice proposal here. Good anatomy and able to fit around that tooth nicely. All the way down underneath the gum line on one side. Okay, now we have our restoration designed, and now we're just going to place in the block. And just tighten that down. And we'll start our restoration. It calibrates the instruments initially to make sure that all the dimensions of the block are universal. It's going to take 8 different measurements here, and then it will start the milling process, which will take approximately 7 minutes. Customizing the stain and blending everything in here. So we like to get a nice smooth coat on first, very lightly, making sure everything is nice and smooth. And then, to help give the restoration a little bit of depth, we blend in just a little bit right here in the center. And it gives it a little bit more of a 3D look of the glass. Put the restoration in the glazing oven. We can go and check the restoration one more time and just make sure that there isn't any extra glaze on there. And we'll take our restoration and just place it right in there. And we're starting. And in about 10 minutes that'll be completed. Okay, and here's our final restoration here, fully seated. Good contours around the gum. And from the back side, I was able to recreate that too. From start to finish, this took about 1 hour.